as we get ready to start the championships, before we get started today, just a few fast facts that were included in our preview but wanted to share, especially for local media. We have 136 athletes here at the Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships. Among them, 5 Olympic medalists. That includes 4 of our 5 men's medalists from the bronze medal team in Paris and 1 of our women's gold medalists. Among the men, we have 25 national titles have been won from among the entire entry list. For the women, it's just 2. And that's actually great news because right here in New Orleans, we have the next generation of talent that's coming up. Probably the best illustration of that would be for our Olympic team last year. The average age of the women's Olympic team was 22.467 years old. For all of the entrants among the women here in New Orleans, the average age is 17.775. We have 2 athletes who are 20 years old or older, and that is Sky Blakely and Leung. So we are really seeing the beginning of that ramp up to LA 2028 here, and we're very excited about that. Last quick note, and this was included in our preview, we have a squad showdown. And what that is going to be is it's a fun little way to kind of have a team atmosphere for day 1 for both the men and the women. So both on Thursday and Friday, each rotation group is a squad. Top 3 scores from each apparatus counts toward this team score. And the winning squad will get a few fun little gifts that we've got for them too. So it's just fun for the athletes, the coaches as well will be part of it, and hopefully the fans will enjoy it as well. So with that, I will get off this stage and invite up Jay Cicero, who is President and CEO of the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. For those of you who are from out of town, welcome to New Orleans. And so on behalf of the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome the Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships to New Orleans for the first time in 30 years. I was part of the staff of the Sports Foundation in 1995 when we hosted this event on the floor of the Superdome. We couldn't be more thrilled to have this great event and these incredible athletes here in the heart of our city for the next several days. The Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships is the premier gymnastics event in the country. So we're talking about the best of the best, junior and senior level athletes from all across the US competing for spots on the national team. So it's our pleasure to open our doors, our businesses, our restaurants, our hotels, for these world-class athletes and the fans who come, and coaches especially, who come along with this event. A special shout out to the USA Gymnastics staff, Scott and your staff. All of y'all have been fantastic to work with, legally, top to bottom, everyone raving on our staff about your staff. So that's been really great. At the same time, the National Congress and Trade Show is happening down at the New Orleans Ernest N. Morial Convention Center, where the 2,500 coaches, judges, gym owners, professionals, we welcome them to our city. They're exchanging ideas, advancing the sport, showcasing the latest in training, technology, and performance. But what makes this truly special is that this event is all happening in New Orleans, a city that's built to host events like these, multi-venues, very complex and exciting. So we have the venues, the energy, and most importantly, the community that shows up for gymnastics events. You can ask our coaches former coaches at LSU, Jay Clark and Dee Dee Bro, who I want to thank for their support of our hosting this event. Without them, we would not be here today. But certainly, their fans have shown up for gymnastics events here, SEC in particular. I also want to thank Leung from USA Gymnastics for choosing New Orleans. We're grateful for your trust and excited to show you what this city can deliver after months and months of planning and work. I'd also like to thank our partners locally, the ASM Global team, New Orleans & Company, the New Orleans Ernest N. Morial Convention Center, Louisiana Economic Development, as well as our staff at the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation, These are the people working behind the scenes to make sure every detail is going just right. In New Orleans, we like to say laissez le bon temps rouler. I like to say it a little easier than that, by the way, which means let the good times roll. And this weekend, we're rolling out the red carpet for the best of gymnastics. We feel privileged to welcome the athletes, fans, professionals, coaches from all across the country to a city that celebrates excellence and knows how to celebrate something worth remembering. So at this time, I'd like to formally introduce Gymnastics President and CEO, Leung, to share a few words to come on up about being in New Orleans and what this event means to not only USA Gymnastics, but their athletes. Lily?
Thank you so much, Jay. I have to say that we're really, really excited to be back here in New Orleans. And it's clear our community is really excited as well. Our community, USA Gymnastics community, really celebrated when we made the announcement that we were coming to New Orleans for the 2025 Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships and National Congress and Trade Show. So I should mention that typically the year after an Olympic Games, registration at our National Congress actually tends to dip down a little bit. But right now it's looking like our registration numbers will be higher than the year before, which is really an incredible achievement. So this is going to be likely one of our biggest and our best national congresses ever on record. And obviously from a fan perspective, the Xfinity US Gymnastics Championships is the main event for them right here at Smoothie King Center. And it's hard to believe, as Jay mentioned, that it's been 30 years since we've been back here. It's also hard to believe that it's actually been a full year since all of the excitement from Paris. So as Jill mentioned, this weekend you're going to see a lot of familiar faces from Paris, including Hesley Rivera, Frederick Richard, Brody Malone, Asher Hong, and America's favorite pommel horse guy, Mr. Steven Nedorosik himself. But just as notably, you're going to see some familiar and some new faces on the women's side. So familiar ones like Leanne Wong and Sky Blakely, as Jill mentioned, all of whom, and Jocelyn Robertson, I should mention, all of whom have world championship experience. But after fielding our oldest Olympic team in decades in Paris, nearly all of the top women's competitors at these championships are under the age of 20. And so that is really notable that truly New Orleans is the start of the next generation and the start of the road to the next games in LA. Local support from New Orleans has been tremendous. I really want to thank Jay and his team at the Greater New Orleans Sports Foundation, that they are really some of the best in the world at what they do. And as you mentioned from our organization, Top Down has been fantastic. Same with you as well. Top Down, we've really enjoyed working with all of you. And Coach Jay Clark and the LSU Gymnastics family have been great partners as well. They joined us a couple weeks ago for an 18th ward visit, and they're also really leaning in as well in terms of really garnering support from the extended fan base. Coca-Cola United has also stepped up and has become a partner of these championships. So you may have noticed that it's been really a busy few weeks for us on the business side of things. Last month, we announced our partnership with Satva. Just yesterday, we announced that we have extended and expanded our relationship with NBC. Just a couple hours ago, we announced our expansion of our partnership with GK Elite through to 2029. And we actually have several more big announcements coming up over the next few days and next few weeks. So stay tuned and keep your eyes peeled in this space. So I also have to say that it's been really gratifying for me to see this organization continuing to build on all of the success and momentum coming out of Paris. It really also highlights why this is a really bittersweet moment for me to be giving my final state of the sport with all of you here today. As many of you probably know, I'll be stepping down at the end of the year. So today I just want to take some time to reflect a little bit on what has transpired over the past 6+ years. So my apologies to those of you who have heard about this before. And I will talk a little bit about a look ahead as well. But we're really, really so fortunate to have so many highlights to talk about. Obviously, when I started in this role in March of 2019, we were in a pretty dark place, to say the least. But thanks to the effort of every person who loves the sport, including our board of directors, our staff, our coaches, our club owners, parents, key influencers in the community, and of course the athletes, we've been able to accomplish so much. So it started out with our cultural transformation, which you've heard me talk about before. A lot of people questioned whether it was even possible for us to do this, but by focusing on athlete well-being and parking egos at the door, we now have a culture in place of excellence and joy mutually thriving together. The smiles on the faces of the athletes and the fans that you'll see over the next few days will really say it all. The return of legendary athletes to the sport is also part of that transformation. USA Gymnastics is now able to welcome our legends and have rebuilt relationships with even some of our biggest critics. Athletes, fans, and partners don't come back unless they feel it's safe to do so, and they don't come back unless they feel it's a benefit to do so. So we're really glad that they are back and enthusiastic about being part of the future of this sport again. Also, we've seen not just athletes come back, but partners old and new return in record numbers, especially in the last 2 years, with more to come on that. Our philosophy on cultural transformation is that a positive environment would lead to athletic success, which honestly is something the world was really skeptical about. But our athletes have proven time and time again that it can be done and that it's possible. USA Gymnasts won 10 medals in Paris, and our men's program has fully emerged as a medal threat on the international stage, with team bronze at the 2023 World Championships and as well as at the Olympics, and our women winning gold in both of those events. And in fact, all of our disciplines have achieved historic and monumental success over the last several years. Trampoline and tumbling was dominant at their 2023 World Championships, winning the first ever team gold and 10 medals in total. In rhythmic, we have won our first medals at the World Championship level. Acro athletes have also won 3 senior medals at the 2024 Acrobatic World Championships, and junior athletes accounted for 24 of the 32 medals of that program. So needless to say, the future is really bright there. Also last year, we had our first ever medals at the Parkour World Championships. And I should also note that our acrobatic, trampoline, tumbling, and parkour athletes are competing this week at the World Games in China. Also, at the grassroots level, we are growing and improving as well. Membership continues to grow year on year, and we're now approaching 240,000 members. And our Inclusive Excel program is the fastest growing program. GymFest, within our Gymnastics for All discipline, also continues to provide a pathway for participation to a wide range of ages and abilities. So now, while last year has been absolutely beyond tremendous, there are a lot of great things in store for the future. We have a new strategic plan in place that takes us through to and including the LA Olympic Games in 2028, and it broadens our focus on the holistic gymnastics community as we target the areas of competitive success, participation and membership, creation of new events, and overall revenue generation. So as part of that plan, we made a small but really important tweak to our mission statement, which now reads, to build a culture of excellence where all members of the community can thrive in sport and in life. And as you may recall, our previous mission statement specified just athletes thriving in sport and in life. But the reality is that athletes don't succeed on their own. They succeed only when their support system is thriving as well. So that's why we made that change. Overall growth will hinge on membership, events, and partnerships all growing together and supporting each other. We'll add more elite events in the future, especially with the 2028 Olympic Games planning a mixed gender competition. Membership growth begins at the grassroots level of the sport, and Excel and development programs will foster that growth. When membership and events are growing, it provides more of an opportunity for our partners to activate in meaningful ways as well. We're also looking for ways to further increase the visibility of our sport. And we continue to move forward on the exploration of the Training Wellness Center and are getting close to identifying a finalist city for a possible location. For a finalist city for a possible facility, and we'll share more information on that as it progresses. So let me pause here to reinforce that the transformation of USA Gymnastics and its culture is not over. It will never be over. There is no such thing as a mission accomplished attitude at USA Gymnastics. Instead, we will always be looking at how to build on what we have achieved and how we can continue to make it better for everyone. Now, with all of these exciting things going on, some people are asking me, why am I leaving? Why am I leaving now? And the truth is, I'm leaving because I feel it's the right time to do so, because all the successes that we have achieved as a team demonstrate that the organization is in a place where we're set up for growth and further success in the future. So I can finally relax just a little bit, and I'm really so happy and proud of our team and what we have collectively achieved, and that I will eventually be passing the baton to my successor in an orderly, normal, and celebratory change in leadership. That's how transition is supposed to happen, thoughtfully and with planning. And as of yet, I have no plans for the future of what is next for me. I will know what's right when I see it. But until then, I remain committed as ever to continue on doing great work over the next several months. For my own personal and professional life, I'm not sure anything will ever rival or stack up to what we have accomplished over the last 6 years. It seems almost unbelievable, in the literal sense of the word, that we've gotten to where we are today. And I should say that during the first interview with the board, I said to them that this is not a one-woman show and that it will take a village to accomplish what we need to accomplish. And I can assure you that it has not been easy by any stretch of the imagination. But it has taken an incredible village to make it happen. And I've been so fortunate and lucky enough to have found that village. I can't possibly mention everyone by name, but I would like to mention just a few. Catherine Carson, our board chair, and the board. So most of you likely don't know that Catherine really showed true courage when she stepped into the board chair role. It was during our darkest times, and this was when there was no CEO in place. In fact, the organization had just let go its third CEO in a very short amount of time, and yet she volunteered to step up and lead us. Thank yous and gratitude should also go to the USA Gymnastics staff who elected, by choice, to stay on or join an organization that was due for a very bumpy ride, but they believed in the possibility of what we could achieve. To the survivors who also allowed us to move forward and who ultimately helped us become a better and more informed community. To the immense number of volunteers who help us grow our sport every day. And to all of you, the media, who were skeptical at first, and you held us accountable as well, but you've also recognized our process and our progress, and so I thank you for that. Needless to say, this has been far from a solo effort, and it has been anything but easy, but it's been so worth it. So it's been rewarding, and it's been fulfilling, and I leave with bittersweet emotions. Bitter in the sense that I will certainly miss all of this, and I will miss all of you, believe it or not, but sweet in the sense that I'm so proud of what has been accomplished and that the sport is now in a much better place than where we found it. And I leave a community that is both strong in spirit and strong in passion. So I leave knowing that the sport is in really good hands and will continue to achieve great things even after I'm no longer in this role. So thank you again to everyone who has been on this journey with me. The sport would not be here without all of you. Thanks very much. I got through it without getting too emotional. I wasn't sure if I would lose it or not, but
It was close.
it was close.
We'll take, if anyone has a couple of questions, we can take a couple of questions. Will?
Surprise, surprise.
To hear you describe, talk about sort of the last 6 years, and I've known you a little bit over that time, and I haven't heard you sort of have that sort of catch in your throat as you talk about it. Has there been any in the last couple months, like, do I really want to
Do this?
Yeah,
I want to really step down.
Have you had any second thoughts on the last little bit?
So, I admittedly, when I was in the process of making the decision, I wasn't sure if I would have buyer's remorse in terms of making this decision. But when it became official, I actually had this sense of calm and a sense of peace wash over me, which is difficult to articulate. But I think it's because of what I just said, is that the time is right to move on. I've accomplished everything that I set out to do when I took this role. And it takes quite a bit of work to build up to an Olympic Games, and it would be so unfair if I made my decision a couple years from now and not giving the next CEO the runway to be able to build successfully into LA. So that's why I think the time is right.
I got a follow-up, Jill, if that's okay?
Sure.
Isn't it, as you pointed out, a lot of people have played a role in sort of getting the organization at this point, but you are the face of it. You sort of are the tip of the spear. As somebody who's been around the business world for a while, was there any concern that like you would become so aligned with whatever this movement is that if you stayed for 12 years, 15 years, that when you left there would be this, well, can it maintain itself without you? You know what I mean? Did that play any role to show that like this change that you're talking about is not aligned with you specifically, but with the organization as a whole?
So I wouldn't say that played into the decision at all. I have always said that this is not about me. This is about the entire community. And I hear what you're saying in terms of I'm potentially the face of the organization, but because I'm the one sitting up here right now. But everything I went through in terms of the achievements, that was done because of other people. It was done because people that we needed to leaned in, and they engaged, and they worked so hard. So while I might be the figurative face of the organization is everyone in the community. And so I'm confident, like I said, in the words I just said, I'm confident that this organization will continue on the positive trajectory that it's on, even without me in place.
Editorial sidebar is that Lily, as a leader, one of her strengths as someone who reports directly to her is that she lets and empowers her staff and her leaders to do their job. So as Jay pointed out, from an LOC perspective, working with the team, and so our biggest partners are used to and love working with Lily and Steph and Scott and everyone else. And so there has not been that sense of sound the alarm, where is Lily going, because of how she leads. She's really built something, she's led from the middle and not from the top. Please don't use any of that. That's just for your... I have the microphone, so I'm going to use it. Any other questions? Scott?
Are there any more details you can provide on the training center, or like the challenges that because it feels like we've been at this stage, like waiting for the location and the plans for a while.
Yeah. Well, it's a big project, as you might imagine, and we want to make sure that we're doing the proper due diligence and ultimately making the right decision. So I do anticipate that you'll see some developments and some progress over the next few months. And so I'm not ready to talk about them right now, but you'll likely see some news going forward.
Would the process be to name like...
This is number 3, Will. This is
I'm just getting warmed up.
I know you are. That's my fear. But
I also have some from Nancy, by the way. But like, is the plan to name like a list? Like here's is there going to be a short list, or is it going to be like, hey, we've kind of narrowed in on this one spot and we're going to try to work it out?
it's likely going to be a finalist city, and no proxy questions.
Let's see. No. So Nancy Armour.
Wait, I think Patricia has one.
I think,
One finalist
yeah.
has his proxy question.
likely a finalist city. So.
Okay, a question from the lady from the Windy City.
Well, I guess she wanted to know if y'all had any sort of update on where Jordan's, sort of the Jordan's medal status is at. I know the legal process is still playing out overseas or whatever. What's your understanding of where things are at?
It's still playing out overseas. And literally that's like all I can say. It's still playing out overseas. It has taken longer than we expected for the Swiss tribunal to come out with a decision, but we're still waiting for that decision, just like everyone else is.
Hi, Chris Welty with Fox 8 here in New Orleans. Nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you as well.
So it's been 30 years since USA Gymnastics came to New Orleans. Why now, and what makes New Orleans such a special place for you all to be?
New Orleans is an incredibly special place. I don't need to tell you how special it is, but we're so excited to be back here. 30 years is a little bit of a lengthy time period, but we couldn't be back here sooner. I think some of the spirit actually shows up in these umbrellas that we have on the table as well. Like I said, when we announced it, our community really celebrated in it, and they're really, really excited to be here, so we couldn't be more excited to be here as well.
We have time for one more question.
New Orleans, with the growing atmosphere of gymnastics, even at the collegiate level, just 70 miles west of
Yep.
LSU, how do you think that contributes to the buy-in that the city has here for gymnastics?
Yeah, the support from the city and from Jay's team has been incredible as well. We all know how popular LSU Gymnastics is here in the city and in Louisiana. And gymnastics is one of those sports that continues to grow, not only at the grassroots level, but also at the collegiate level. And so we are loving the growth at the collegiate level of gymnastics and hope it continues as well.